Hello everybody, this is Cam Gwynn and you stumbled upon the YouTube page that talks a lot about a little. This is Cam Gwynn Talks, and today I got another vinyl, and like every other one, it's the one that's sitting right there, Kid Cudi's Man on the Moon 3, The Chosen. Now this is the third installment of the Man on the Moon series, like I said, the third, the first two brought us some crazy tracks like The Pursuit of Happiness, Soundtrack to My Life, Day and Night, Marijuana, Erase Me. That one's got Kanye West in it, with Kanye West kind of found Kid Cudi, so that makes sense. And then Mr. Rager, also on Man on the Moon 2. So, he kind of Kid Cudi went through kind of some weird stuff after the second Man on the Moon. His albums kind of started going like a weird direction. Wasn't really messing with it. So I was kind of hoping this would be like a step back after Surfing and like Frequency. I forget what that album's called, but after those two songs came out, I was hoping, I think the resurgence of Cudi is coming. So did it? I'll let you know. So the first track, Beautiful Trip, I didn't give it a ranking. It's like 30-second snippet of kind of just like the sound that you're going to be expecting throughout this album. And this album does have a specific sound to it, which is cool. And if you're just kind of listening to it all the way through, you kind of get lost and you don't realize you're listening to different songs. So track 2 is Tequila Shots, and it's the perfect sound for Cudi. It's like Cudi is back, The lyrics are kind of sad when you dig into them a little bit. Like he says, I do this to my loved ones. I got some nerve. And then he kind of, does his hum thing. And then he says, don't think I'm not sorry. And then the chorus is this fight, this war in me, this fight, this war in me, But he also has a clever line in there where he says, can't lose him in the third act. I like that because it's the third, I gave that an 8.1. Tequila Shots is a solid song. Track 3, Another Day. The beat is a little more intense. It kind of, like I said, they flow into each other very, very well. It's got a catchy chorus to it. I gave it a 7.8. She Knows. I love the Scott Pilgrim clip at the very beginning where he says, Scott, don't give him the satisfaction. He says, what if I want the satisfaction? Because Kid Cudi's real name is Scott Muscudi. For those of you who didn't know that. So I thought that was kind of clever. I thought he could have done more with this, though. The beat is like it's a Cudi beat, and I just feel like he could have done more with it. I gave that a 7.2. Track 5, Dive. I really like the guitar at the beginning, and when the beat kind of drops, it goes crazy, and then Cudi just like is in his zone. He switches the flow up a little bit a couple times, which keeps it going. I wrote down, it feels like a rejuvenated Cudi. Like this is the Cudi sound that everyone fell in love with when he first came out. Track 5, Dive, I gave it an 8.3. Then we go into track 6, Damaged, which was actually my favorite song going into this, and I gave it a decent rating, but I'm not sure why this was my favorite song. I must have been going through something. But it's got a darker beat, heavy vocal corrections on it, but that's Cudi. The chorus is catchy. It really sounds like, we're looking into his head, how it goes when you're a damaged man, and he just kind of talks about his woes. I gave that an 8.2. It's a solid song. 7, Heaven on Earth, and we got the hums back, ladies and gentlemen. The Cudi brought back the hums. I like the tranquil bells in this song. It's got, it's the Cudi we fell in love with again. This album is bringing back old Cudi vibes, but in a new, rejuvenated way. Like, it doesn't feel like we're listening to the same story, same sound that he used to have. So, the rejuvenated sound, we like that. I gave Heaven on Earth an 8.3. And then I got track 8, Show Out, featuring Skepta and Pop Smoke. It's a drill sound, and I wasn't quite sure if Cudi could do drill, but then looking back at it, his most of his beats do have like slight drill undertones to them, so whatever. I gave Show Out a 7.4. I do think it's a good song. I think Pop Smoke does really good on the chorus, and I think Cudi, when he jumps in on the chorus with Pop, just really adds to it. I think they got a good connection right there when they did that together, so I did really like that. Skepta, I do want to mention this. He's got a funny line where he says, "Guns same size as Kevin Hart. Please don't think it's a joke." Clever. We gotta big up these European rappers, man. They're really good. Like I said, I gave that a 7.4. Solo Dolo Part 3. Now I actually went through and found Solo Dolo Part 1 and 2 and listened to them like it was hard to find. Either way, I listened to them, and in Part 1, it's pretty simple, but it's called The Nightmare too. Um, not two, but it's also called The Nightmare. That's like the secondary title. It kind of makes it more intense, makes it make sense a little bit. That's from Man on the Moon Part 1. And then Solo Dolo Part 2 is from Into Cudi, and it's got Kendrick Lamar in it. And, it's a very hype beat compared to the first one. And, I think it's clever the way he's going at it because that's at the point where he had risen to a specific type of fame. His superstardom was at its peak around then. Um, and there's a line in it where he said, or he keeps the "I don't need nobody" at the beginning, but Mr. Solo Dolo is winning now. So how was part three? The one that I'm actually giving a ranking on, and the one that's actually a part of the album I'm talking about. Part three is very solid. It's calm, relaxing. Again, it's the Cudi that people fell in love with. This album really rejuvenated who Kid Cudi is, and reminded us of who Kid Cudi is, and we gotta love that. I gave it a 7.8. I do really like the song, but it's not the best on this album. Sad People. The beat is very simple at the beginning, but then it gets going when the drop comes. It fits Cudi very well. Um, he says in it, "Back in my zone, just what I need." And I feel like if you're a diehard Cudi fan, you'll absolutely love this song. But I'm not quite a diehard fan. I do really like Kid Cudi, and I do think he's a phenomenal artist, and I do, I can appreciate how many people he's helped from his career. Like Pete Davidson even had said that Cudi saved his career, and I know there are a lot of people in my age range that will say the same thing, that like they were in a really dark place and Kid Cudi helped save them. So I'm glad that he's back on track and putting out music, that we love. Sad People, I gave it a 7.6. Like I said, if you're a diehard Cudi fan, you will absolutely love that song. You'll probably be like, why is it not like a 9? I'm just trying to be honest. Track 11, Elsa's Baby Boy, also called Flashback. It's a nice drop at the start. It's from Stand By Me. It's slipping my mind right now, but I do love the simple guitar and drums with it. It's a very like the beat is very simple on it, but it's a story. We're supposed to be paying attention to what he's saying, and I think that's awesome. I like it. It's kind of different, but it's a look at how he grew up. Elsa is his mom, I assume. I gave that an 8. It's a solid song. It's different from what you would expect from Cudi. September 16th. Apparently it's the birthday of a girl that he was dating at the time. And fun fact, Phineas, Billie Eilish's brother, actually helped produce this. So that's cool. It is one of those songs, and I don't know a better way to describe it, but like you can have it at the lowest volume, but it still fills the room. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to explain it any better than that. You don't need it to be loud for it to fill the room. It's one of those songs. It's just, you know, I gave it a 7.4. The Void, which also was one of my favorites going into it, and it's still one of my favorites now. Everything works, it fits perfectly. It's kind of a simple beat again, but he's letting his vocals do the work. He's using a kind of heavy auto tune in it, but it's fine. Um, and it's another one that just fills the room. I don't know how else to explain it other than that. That's just the best way for me to describe this song. The Void, I gave it an 8.3. It is kind of long. It does kind of drag, but it's still really good. 14, Lovin' Me, featuring Phoebe Bridges. And if you guys have never heard of Phoebe Bridges, go check her out because, ooh, she's awesome. Like she's got a very simple like acoustic sound to her, but she is awesome, and it shows through on here. It's like a solid ballad. The chorus is kind of sad. Cuddy says, "At times I really didn't show what was wrong with me. I told myself I cannot grow without loving me, but this is just the hell that lives inside. Tell me now where to. Please be my guide." And then, Phoebe hops in and does her thing. It's a very, very good song between the two of them, and I love it from Cudi. It's a little different. It's, more simple, more ballady. Gave it an 8.7. It's a great song. And that's another one where you could probably play it for almost anybody, and they might be surprised that they're listening to Kid Cudi. Track 15, The Pale Moonlight. it's kind of got a nice vibe to it, but it's the typical Cudi song I also wrote down. This is probably another one where if you're a diehard Cudi fan, you'll absolutely love it. It's just not, I don't know. I don't know. 6.7. Track 16, Rockstar Nights, and it's night as in like the queen just knighted you, not like nights like nighttime like it is right now, for me at least. Trippie Redd is in that song. Two Ohio boys doing their thing on the track, and I really like it a lot. And I'm not really a huge Trippie fan, but he does very well on this, and then Cudi just kills it. I gave it a 7.2. For the kids, it's really a shout out to his fans, and I pulled a quote that says, "Real life dreamers in the suburbs and the cities." He knows his music touches lives of a lot of people, and I'm a suburb boy, but I get along with some city boys as well. And music brings people together. That's an amazing thing about music. He realizes that, he knows that, and he knows that he touches a lot of lives, whether you're from the suburb or the city. And it was a real nice shout out. And he also has another line in here where it says, "This is just the right vibe, turn it loud if you need to." That's a perfect way to describe this song, man. It's a good song. I gave it an 8. And then track 18, the last track on here, "Lord I Know," starts very slow. It's got a nice vibe to it, but then, Cudi switches it up, turns up the speed a little bit, a little heavier drum goes into it. I do like it. And then at the very end, there's a kind of, I guess, sketchy sounding voice that says, "To be continued." So are we getting a Man on the Moon 4? 4? 4? I hope so. That would be sweet. So Lord I Know got a 7.5. Overall, we got an average of a 7.79. It's a solid album. It's really good Kid Cudi album. I think Man on the Moon 1 is probably the best out of the Man on the Moons, but this is a close second. Close second when I say that. It's solid. It's very good. On vinyl, it sounds fine. We're getting into the fun part. I will grab that in a second. It sounds fine on vinyl. I did take some points off though because it auto tune sometimes works on vinyl, but most of the time does not. That's the biggest issue. So, whatever. I gave it a 7.29 for that. So now we got the artwork. But before I pull that down and open it up and all that stuff, I know you can see it already. Look, it's the same as what you see on digital. I'm in pajama pants, so don't mind me. But there's a poster with it. And it's a big one, so I gotta stand up. Ooh. Mr. Scott Muscuddy here. Let me angle it better. Chilling in a suit. Oh, it's so nice. So, we love little things like that in vinyls. We hadn't seen a poster yet in the series, so that's fun. And like I said, it's the same on the front. The back is kind of cool because you don't see it on digital. When you open it up, you got kind of the same picture. And then there is another one of those little sleeves that has like a like credentials on the songs and stuff like that in there. That's cool. I probably should just start reading those to find out information on who's producing them and stuff like that. Boo! Gotta get better every day. I gave the artwork a 7. It's nice overall, So now, like I say, my favorite part. Hope it's your favorite part too. What does this disc look like? And hopefully this paper moving around isn't bothering you guys, but it's another boring one. So, it gets a 5. Overall rating on the vinyl itself, as the vinyl overall with the album average and all that included, is a 6.77. I would say, I mainly got it because I do like this album a lot. I do really like the artwork on it as well. That is the one reason I bit the bullet and said, whatever. I know I don't like auto-tune on vinyls, but we're going to get it. So, bada bing, bada boom. There it is. I had to wait almost a year also for it to come. Almost a whole year. I ordered it like, whatever, I'll just add this in. I ordered it like 2 weeks after it came out. And then it took a year and like a month for it to come in. And I ended up with two. So I have an extra one of those, which is kind of cool. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. This was Man on the Moon Part 3, The Chosen. The worst song was The Pale Moonlight. I gave it a 6.7. The best song, Lovin' Me, featuring Phoebe Bridgers, 8.7. Like I said, that's another one where you could probably play it for almost anybody and they would probably like it. But my personal favorites in this song, or my favorite going into it, was Damaged. My personal favorites now, though, are Dive, Elsa's Baby Boy, and Loving Me. I do really like that song. So again, like I was just getting into, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you got any other albums that maybe you haven't seen on my wall at all, like I got Under Pressure right there, I got Faces, I got a bunch more to do. But if there's an album that maybe I don't have a vinyl of, comment, I'll look it up, I'll do it. I don't care what it is. It could be 1950s. I don't care. Whatever it is. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm going to spin that wheel and we're going to find out what the next one is.